I'm Kelly McCarren, and this is The Formula. Welcome to You Beauty, the podcast for your face. Today, we're doing a history lesson, sort of, because we are talking about La Roche-Posay, which is 50 years old. We're not really talking about La Roche-Posay, but we're talking about some of the products because we have Dr. Cara McDonald in, and she works with them a lot, but she's also just got a wealth of knowledge about everything to do with the skin. So welcome, Dr. Cara McDonald. So Dr. Cara, the brand's origin starts with a medieval knight and a spring. That is quite a story. What makes their famed water such a crucial scientific ingredient today?
Well, yes, you are right. Apparently, the brand dates back, 1,000 years or so when it became known for, curing or solving people's skin diseases. And people trekked across Europe and across France to go and bathe in these springs to help their skin. And I suppose much more recently, it's been discovered some of the reasons why. And a large part of it is this ingredient selenium, or a mineral selenium that's rich in the springs there. But my question was, well, why can't we just
Yeah.
add selenium to everything? But my understanding is that it's a combination of different minerals that form what they call a mineral matrix that is pretty much unique to the ground that's in that region, and that's why you can't necessarily replicate it. And this mineral matrix, which particularly is high in selenium, seems to be anti-inflammatory. It's antioxidant as well, so less free radicals, damage. And I think one of the most important things is that it supports the skin's microbiome, so our natural bacteria on the skin that we need to help our immunity and to stop dysregulation and poor healing and so on, thrives in the right environment. And the water from La Roche-Posay is really
I
it.
love like a good tale. Like, I love a good origin story.
Yeah,
If it's
yeah,
just like,
no.
oh, I was just sitting in my kitchen and thought I should do this. Like, it's just,
It's
it
an
doesn't
excellent
have the
reason to
same
visit.
mystery, does it? Well, La
No.
Roche-Posay is celebrating 50 years, and one inspiring face we proudly see standing behind the brand is burn survivor Stephanie Browett. So she couldn't join us today, but her story is very powerful. As a dermatologist, what does her story represent to you about the brand and about how skincare can support people through everything from their healing to their biggest challenges?
Yeah, I think those who know her story will know she's a White Island volcano survivor and lost her sister and father, and then spent months and months in hospital recovering from burns herself. So she is really phenomenal. But I think the reason she loves this brand and connects with them is because at the end of the day, this brand is literally designed for people with compromised skin, sensitive skin, problem skin. And many people don't understand, as dermatologists, that's what we see every single day. We're not seeing, you know, the people like you and me who have probably pretty good skin and just want to make it that little bit better, more glowy, anti-aging and so on. They're really are a huge number of people in the population who have difficulties with their skin on a daily basis, and they just want
Yeah.
to get to normal skin. And this brand really focuses on those people, where they focus their research, they focus their clinical trials, they focus their innovation on helping people who have skin conditions, skin struggles, skin barrier issues, healing. And so for someone like Stephanie, the products really speak to her, and she knows that she can rely on them to not, first of all, not cause any problems, and then secondly, promote healing, reduce inflammation, and help with all the things that come with recovery from burns and scarring that she has. But it extends to more people than just Stephanie. Obviously, it's people who've had, chemotherapy, radiation, and other, skin problems such as dermatitis and all the things we see every day as
And
well.
speaking of skin, so, you know, I'm speaking to you, and as you said, both of us have pretty your normal average skin. But when we're actually thinking about skin, so we're talking about different products, we're talking about different routines, but can you talk to us about the functionality of your skin and why it's actually so important to look after it? I just don't think it's something we don't think about it, right? Like we just think about, oh, I've got a blemish or I've got a wrinkle, but we're not thinking about what its core purpose actually is.
Absolutely. And I'm fascinated by the skin. I just love, thinking about it, studying it, hearing about it because it's amazing. I mean, the human body is so amazing. I think what we can do, how clever it is. Our skin regulates our entire body temperature. It stops us from getting too hot, too cold. Everything from the little hair follicles, the oil glands, vitamin D is produced in the skin. We've got a huge immune system in the skin. It's so extensive what the skin does that we often don't think about the normal healthy function of the skin and how to keep it that way. As you say, we just worry about, oh, how do we stop a wrinkle or how do we fix a pimple? But really the key to the skin is what we call the skin barrier, and the skin barrier is a ultra clever design which really stops anything from the environment that we don't want getting into the skin, and restricts the water loss and problems if we lost our water out of the skin. So the skin barrier is what keeps the skin at the optimal hydration. And people think that drinking lots of water actually will hydrate their skin, but that does nothing for skin hydration. All skin hydration comes down to the skin barrier and also the integrity of the skin. So, how much hyaluronic acid is naturally in the skin to hold water there. But if we don't have a healthy skin barrier and keep our skin functioning optimally, then we're so far behind the eight ball. So the first thing with any skincare routine, anybody's skin concerns, is to protect and nurture the skin barrier and protect the skin from our environmental damage as well, so that it can maintain its healthy function for as long as possible.
And it's just crazy, like thinking about it as its core function. But when you say not to worry about drinking water, that did just remind me, not worry, but like that it's not going to do anything. I recently got told that I could drink 8 liters of water a day. Well, firstly, that would drown my internal organs, but that you could drink as much water, but it's actually better to eat water-rich foods for skin's hydration. Is that true, or is that just something I was told?
Look, I think that's an interesting comment because basically, what if rich foods are just going to be absorbed into the body as water? But the reason to do that would be that water-rich foods have all the other minerals and vitamins in them that are critical for healthy skin function, and all those antioxidants, especially in water-rich foods. Most water-rich foods are fruit and veggies, obviously, and they are high in antioxidants, a lot of the nutrients that we need for healthy skin function. So I suppose from that point of view, you are going to be better off getting liquid in. But if you drink 8 liters of water a day, you just pee 8 liters a day. Our system is very carefully in balance so that our blood hydration and organs are within a very small parameter the whole time.
When it comes to our nighttime skin routines, we often hear different things about it and we've got our routine set. But can you talk to us about why it is so important to have a good nighttime routine and what is actually happening to our skin overnight versus what it might be doing during the day?
Absolutely. The entire body goes into a sort of different functional mode overnight, and our skin included. We're essentially into repair mode. So most of the stresses on the body, which come from metabolism, the foods we eat, the exercise we do, the toxins in our environment, and all of that, most of them hit us during the day, and then our body, we need rest and sleep to switch everything off and go into repair mode. So we know that skin cell turnover increases overnight, DNA repair happens more overnight. The body, when we're in the kind of fasted state as well, is more likely to pick up damaged cells and knock them off in a process called apoptosis, which is really important to reduce our risk of getting cancer. But we can kind of utilize this to help further promote healthy skin and repair by using our active ingredients at night to stimulate those repair processes even more.
But how does your skin know it's nighttime? Like, what would a shift worker that actually sleeps during the day, would it be? Do you know, do you know what I mean? Like, how does your skin know?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think basically there's obviously circadian rhythms that are influenced by light, and that has some impact. But I think essentially when you're sleeping is when your body is in that repair mode. So hopefully our shift workers are getting a bit of an eye mask and a chance to rejuvenate and repair.
You call azelaic acid a quiet achiever. Why do you love it so much? And why is it so effective for managing breakouts and dark spots?
Azelaic acid is one of these, I think dermatologist favorites, and it's been around for a long, long time. And I think it's almost been one of the dermatologist's best kept secrets because it's having its heyday now. It's coming to light in social media, especially, which is great to see because it really is a bit of an all rounder ingredient. A lot like niacinamide, it's got a lot of benefits and not many downsides. So, azelaic acid would be more anti inflammatory, so reduce sort of irritation or inflammation in the skin. We particularly like to use it in breakout prone skin. We can use it in rosacea, it's very helpful as well. It can reduce pigmentation by inhibiting the pigment cells from producing too much pigment, and also has a bit of an antibacterial effect. But ultimately, it's very highly tolerable. So even people with sensitive skin can get some of the benefits. They may not be able to use other actives like retinols easily or alpha hydroxy acids, but they often can use
Okay.
azelaic acid.
And the new Everclear AZ gel it's got a triacid complex. How does that formula differ from those old school? I used to get really bad acne, and in high school we would like, I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to dob on any of the companies, but it would
I know,
actually
I
just
know.
burn. It
Don't
wouldn't
worry.
even help the pimple. It would just burn the pimple and then all of the skin around it.
Yeah.
Like, to be a kid these days with acne must
Mm.
be so much easier.
Basically, the Everclear AZ gel cream, it has, as you said, this tri-acid complex, they call it. So azelaic acid, as we discussed, is actually a very gentle ingredient, anti-inflammatory, anti-pigmentation, antibacterial, so great for acne-prone skin. In blemish-prone skin or acne-prone skin, we also have a blockage within the pore. Basically, any person who gets any pimple ever, it starts with a clog in the pore. And so if you want to effectively prevent and clear blackheads and blockages and improve your breakouts or reduce your breakouts, what you want to do is be able to break down those blockages and reduce the blockages in the pore, because that's what becomes irritated and inflamed. So those ingredients you're talking about, or your products you've used in the past, they do break down the skin cells, which is why they just make the skin peel and irritated. But usually the concentration is too high and they're too irritating, so you often cause more inflammation in the process, which actually can worsen your breakouts. So by using the combination of the three, so they use salicylic acid, lipohydroxy acid, and the azelaic acid, and that three acid complex, what it's doing is it's in low enough concentrations that it's not going to be too irritating, but because the three ingredients are being used together, it can penetrate down into the pores, unblock them, help kill off the bacteria that are causing breakouts as well, and reduce the inflammation. So it's one of those things we call synergistic activity, where the three ingredients together have a greater sum than what you would expect if you have the three individual ingredients. You put them together and
Okay,
you
well,
get a
I'll have
better
to try that the
result.
next time I get a pimple, because I still do get them every now and then. We all need to cleanse. That's one thing that everyone needs to do, no matter what, how many steps they've got in their routine. I think it's very confusing for people How do I know whether or not I should use a foaming cleanser or a gel cleanser or an oil cleanser or a milk cleanser? What is your general rule of thumb when deciding what someone should use?
The bottom line is everybody can use a cream cleanser because they're gentle and they won't cause any problems on the skin. If you have an active skin problem that you want to target with your cleansing, then you might be looking at a cleanser that has some active ingredients in it. Or, for example, if you've got naturally very oily skin, you might look for ingredients that are going to reduce the oil in your skin and also potentially help break down some of those blocked pores like I was talking about. So I think the best rule to go by is gentle is best. Cream cleansers actually can be used for anyone, whether they're oily skin, sensitive skin, dry skin, normal skin. But if you are an oilier, breakout prone person, then it is safer to use a gel or foaming cleanser. It should still be gentle and soap free. Soap is basically an ingredient that breaks down oil. It's like detergent that we wash our dishes with. You'd think that would be good if you had oily skin, but what it does is it actually breaks down the bonds between all our skin cells as well, which are made like of an oily substance, and so it damages the skin barrier. And that's why we avoid soap cleansers and detergent. But gel cleansers that are formulated with a soap-free vehicle, and then with some active ingredients, they can be helpful for acne or oily skin quite safely used.
Okay, so you did talk about actives and not wanting to put actives on an impaired skin barrier. What is an easy, so let's just say that everyone that's listening and wants to be using their actives has a good skin barrier so they can go ahead. What is a really easy no fail rule for getting an order of serums and creams with actives right? So vitamin C in the morning, retinol every few nights or whatnot. Like, where would you fit your Azelaics in there?
Yeah, great question. So
Yeah, there's
there's a
so
lot of
much
confusion around
information.
this, and I'm always hearing people say, "Oh, just put them on thinnest to thickest," but that rule does not always work, because you might have retinol in a cream base, but because that is an ingredient that you want to penetrate deepest, that's an active ingredient. You're targeting your fibroblasts, your collagen production in your dermis. That's the ingredient that you really want to get into the skin deep, go on first. So if you put your hyaluronic acid serum, because it's more runny than your retinol, on first, you're actually going to, hydrate the top outer layer of the skin, but also stop your retinol then penetrating in, because
Mm.
you've already put a layer of something on. If you have too many layers, again, every layer you put on, the one above it is going to do less and be less and less effective, because it's basically being blocked and it's being diluted. So you're not going to get the full effect of your number five or your fifth serum that you put on,
Yeah.
if you just keep
Sometimes when
putting
I'm,
more and
just
more
can't be
on.
bothered, I just don't even wait for the layers to dry. And I'm like, oh, it'll be right. No, no, it's just wasting product.
Yeah, exactly. I love just thinking ABC,
Oh, yeah.
vitamin A is great. We know about all the anti-aging ingredients. Vitamin B is niacinamide and panthenol. They are soothing, they're hydrating, they're great ingredients for pigmentation, breakouts, that sort of thing. And then vitamin C is your kind of antioxidant or group of antioxidants. So ABC is a great starting point for everyone. Obviously, you're going to put your antioxidants, your ingredients that protect you on in the morning, and your most active rejuvenating or renewing ingredients generally at night. But if you are trying to treat something like blemish prone skin, so you might have your Effaclar AZ cream in there as well. That's when I would want my antioxidant on first, because that one you need to penetrate deeply. You want to protect your skin. Then I'd put my AZ cream on after that, and then my
And that's
SPF.
it.
Now
Oh,
you can put a moisturizer. That would be it. I was going to say you can use a moisturizer as well if your skin needs it. A lot of people don't realize that most SPF is
mm.
in a moisturizer base. It's in an emollient hydrating base. So if you're using SPF every day in the morning, which you should be, you don't have to put a moisturizer on in between. Just depends on your skin and what kind of feel you like.
How long roughly would you usually wait between the retinol and then whatever next step you're doing?
you know, Really, you don't have to wait a long time. I always say in an ideal world, you do something in between. So I put my vitamin C on, and then I brush my teeth, and then I put my something on, and then I brush my hair. So I kind of try and do something in between that's useful, and I don't feel like I'm waiting for anything. So long as you've absorbed it all in and, patted it, rubbed it so you can't feel that product on the surface anymore, you can follow up pretty quickly if
Sometimes
you're
even
in a
like a
rush,
little
which I
hand
normally am.
fan can help. We are headed into summer. What are your absolute non-negotiable skincare rules? Obviously, SPF aside.
That's my
Oh, okay.
only non-negotiable skincare rule, to be honest. The other thing for me, I love antioxidants. I love to use them in the morning, in particular under my sun protection, because they are going to neutralize some of those free radicals and the damage that's going on from, eating too much sugar and being, in other environmental pollutants, your metabolism, all the things that are going on in your skin. If we can neutralize some of those free radicals, then they do less damage to your skin. So that's how they, slow down aging in the most basic of ways. So that's very important for me.
Apart from everything that we've sort of discussed up till now, as a dermatologist, what are some non-negotiable products or steps in your own routine?
So other things that I love are peptides, and so there's lots of different peptides. They work as signaling molecules to help tell our skin how to behave. Can help reduce fine lines, stimulate collagen, improve hydration, improve skin function in multiple different ways. And I do think that they are a key ingredient for anti-aging. Otherwise, I think just really good barrier protection. We haven't really discussed what that means, and really for me, it's about sort of sealing in all my actives, but also helping add some of those ingredients back into the skin that can be stripped away, like ceramides and fatty acids, cholesterol. As I said earlier, the bonds between all our skin cells are made of these lipids. And if we actually use lipids onto the surface of the skin, it kind of seals it in a little bit like mortar around bricks. It kind of just seals all the cracks and makes that a watertight wall. Whereas if you tried to build your wall with just bricks and no mortar, it's not going to keep the water in or out. So barrier protection is really important, and it means that I can use, push some of my actives from time to time a little bit harder without causing the inflammation and irritation. So Cicaplast B5 balm is my absolute go-to. Anytime I cause, overdo it a bit, that goes straight on. It's an excellent barrier protection. It's one of my favorites. But yeah, look, I think it's just about being sensible, and there's two real keys for me. One is consistency. I think one of the biggest problems out there is FOMO, trying everything new we see, wanting to do what your friends doing or what you've seen on social media or what you saw when you walked into the, beauty store, and thinking, I want this, I want that, and switching and changing between products all the time rather than saying, what does my skin need? What are my goals? And how am I going to get there
Mm.
over long term? So consistency is absolute key.
You mentioned Cicaplast B5, which is a beautiful segue
Mm.
into my very last question. I've always said that this is a product that people just need to have in their cabinet on hand, I say. It is such a
Yes.
cult product. Why? Like, why? Why is it so cult? Why is it so amazing? Why does everyone need it?
I would say it's a cult product because it can be used for
Mm.
so many different things, and it is tolerated by pretty much everybody. We use it a lot post procedure. So, people who have had procedures in clinic, it speeds up healing and is obviously a very gentle barrier protection for people who actually have a compromised barrier caused by us. It helps soothe inflammation, soothe irritated skin, improve, dry skin. And so it can be just used in so many different situations, whether it's an active inflammatory skin condition like eczema, psoriasis, rosacea. It can be used for bits of dry skin that annoy you, like dry elbows and cuticles, and it can be used post-procedure. It can be used post-sunburn. It can be used when you've used too many actives, like I'm always using it. I love it on a plane. I do a lot of travel, and the moisture just gets literally sucked out of your skin into the very dry environment. So I'm just like plastering Cicaplast on, and it's amazing to keep my skin hydrated and protected in dry environments. So it's just a multi-purpose ingredient or product, I think, and that's why it's so popular, because it's
Yeah.
you can't really go wrong with it.
That's such a good way to put it. You literally can't. You could use it on whatever and just, well, see if it works. Because it probably will.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much
Exactly.
for joining us and letting us poke around in your brain and get some information. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know if you have a guest suggestion and pop it in the comment section below. Like and subscribe.